crews are in an all-hands-on-deck battle to stop several ferocious wildfires that have been spreading across the Carolinas. I'm here in the rain to bring you the latest on the fight to stop the flames.
Today, you'll hear about how students are changing the future of medical research right here at Furman.
And I'm here in Pickens County with one of our student athletes. I'll show you how she's making a difference on and off the field. That's coming up later in sports.
Good morning. I'm Clancy Carter, and this is the Nightly News. We begin our show with breaking news today. New Jersey Senator Cory Booker making history on the Senate floor. He began speaking Monday around 7 p.m. and ended a little over 25 hours later. The Democratic senator was protesting actions by the Trump administration, saying the nation is in a crisis and calling on his own party to, quote, do better.
It starts with the people of the United States of America. That's how this country started. We, the people. Let's get back to the ideals that others are threatening. Let's get back to our founding documents, that those imperfect geniuses had some very special words at the end of the Declaration of Independence. It was one of the greatest in all of humanity declarations of interdependence. When our founders said we must mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. We need that now from all Americans. This is a moral moment. It's not left or right, it's right or wrong. Let's get in good trouble. My friend, Madam President, I yield the floor.
Fellow Democrats rallied behind Booker as he took part in what is known as the most high-profile form of protest, the filibuster. Senator Booker's speech broke the filibuster record long held by South Carolina Senator Strom Thurmond, who spoke for 24 hours and 18 minutes. He was protesting the Civil Rights Act of 1957. Booker's official time standing and talking, 25 hours and 5 minutes. Wildfires have burned over 15,000 acres across the Carolinas, which is roughly around 11,000 football fields. This comes after crews have been working hard to contain these fires. Our Lainey Harness in Greenville County with what we know now. Lainey?
Yeah, so we're currently out here at a staging area over near the Persimmon Ridge Fire. You can see those mountains behind me. That's where fire crews are out there right now trying to get that fire down, as these flames are scorching thousands of acres of land, even making the Table Rock Fire over in Pickens County the largest wildfire in South Carolina history. Investigators say that 4 teenage hikers started that fire just 2 weeks ago and that they could be facing charges.
They could be charged with starting the fire. They could be charged with allowing fire to spread to others' land. That's the 2 charges that are out there that are potential for it. The ignition started before the burning ban started, so there wouldn't be anything associated with that. But those are the potential charges, but it's still under investigation.
Right now, the focus is on protecting the lives of folks impacted and the crews that have been hard at work. Communities have gathered together from all over to support some of those first responders.
I donated to the fire crews and the wildfires because they are out there risking their lives, and it was the least I could do to help.
Many of the mandatory evacuations have been lifted. However, they're warning you to be extremely careful if you go back because containment is not stable and air quality is still bad. While this rain we're getting this week should hopefully help, fire crews are saying it will not put the fires out, just hopefully knock down some of those heavy flames and allow crews to get closer to the fire line to help with containment. Reporting in Greenville County for the Nightly News, I'm Lainey Harness.
Thanks, Lainey. We would also like to remind you that while the bird ban has been lifted in parts of the Carolinas, it is still in place for Greenville and Spartanburg counties. And later in sports, we'll introduce you to one student athlete who's trying to help some of those firefighters on the front lines. The Table Rock Fire is 30% contained, and the Persimmon Ridge Fire is 74% contained. Most of the other fires that are still burning are between 0 and 80% contained. Right now, we want to break down what that means. When a fire is 50% contained, that does not mean the fire is 50% put out. When crews are containing a fire, it means they're stopping it from spreading. So if you hear that a fire is 100% contained, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's gone, just that it's no longer spreading. Unfortunately, that also means that if weather conditions pick up, it can start to spread again. As these conditions are not stable, air quality is still bad. So please stay safe if you are outside, especially if you have allergies or lung disease. People aren't the only ones being forced from their homes. Many animals have been displaced as well. Animal shelters in the upstate are making room for any critters fleeing the fires. If you have any pets you need to emergency board, you can take them to Astro Kennels, Cleveland Park Animal Hospital, or Travelers Rest Animal Hospital. For horses, you can take them to Ted Garrison Livestock Arena for free. The DEI bill at the State House still hasn't had a vote. Last Wednesday, lawmakers in South Carolina were scheduled to vote, but instead they debated and finally closed the session without one. The bill limits programs that promote diversity, equity, and inclusion in schools.
We are here debating the essence of diversity, equity, and inclusion. When you cannot even articulate what diversity, equity, and inclusion means, and you represent citizens in South Carolina, it's a sad day in South Carolina.
We will bring you that vote as soon as it happens. Also, at the State House, a newly proposed South Carolina bill could make abortion completely illegal. Bill 3537 defines life as starting at conception. If passed, anyone whose pregnancy ends midterm could be charged with murder. South Carolina already has a 6-week ban. However, the bill is being met with backlash from some House leaders as it messes with all kinds of laws, including criminal and civil laws. According to WYFF news station, District 38 Representative Josiah Magnuson said, quote, "We are trying to make sure that abortion is completely outlawed in South Carolina," end quote. This bill could be very dangerous for those of childbearing age, as miscarriages and other medical issues would not be exempt from the bill. Reagan Cheadle is a health science student and a resident of South Carolina.
Seeing as I am a 21-year-old perfect childbearing age, and I'm a health science student, it kind of scares me that my life could literally be determined by me doing things with someone or not. That terrifies me, to be quite frank, because I feel like people should be able to do what they want to when it comes to that. And I don't know, it scares me that me having intercourse with someone or not could ruin my life basically and put me in prison for a lifetime. And just, I don't know, it really, really scares me.
Now to an alert from our nation's capital. President Trump has signed a sweeping executive order cracking down on election rules. It would require proof of citizenship to register. Right now, states are required to accept a federal voter registration form that does not ask for any document to prove your citizenship. But under the new order, voters would need to show a passport, a birth certificate, or some other official paperwork. The U.S. Election Assistance Commission says it's reviewing this order. Back on campus, medical research is being done all around the world. But this week, our Katelyn Wong is looking into the research being done here on Furman's campus.
Student research is all a part of the Furman Advantage, and Dr. George Shields of the Furman University Chemistry Department has partnered with students in conducting neuroscience research on making opioids safer.
Opioids are these incredibly powerful molecules that both prevent pain, but also slow respiration down, and overdoses lead to death because people just can't breathe anymore. And so we were thinking about, well, could we model using computational chemistry the structures of various opioids and then see how they bind to the opioid receptor. And so we worked in collaboration with a group, it's California State University, Los Angeles. Dr. Katelyn Scott, her students were looking at how to actually bind molecules to the opioid receptor. And what we did was we figured out how to get all the low energy solutions of these opioids and figure out what the lowest energy structure was. And then Dr. Scott's group would bind them to the opioid receptor. And we put that all together into this paper. Well, I've been working with undergraduates on research projects since about 1990, and it's the best part of the job. So watching students actually do the scientific method instead of learning about it in a textbook and figuring out what they need to do to be successful is a great joy of being a professor.
So I took Dr. Shields during my freshman year, and I had his Chem 110 class, and he approached me a while into the class and saw that I was doing well and asked if I was interested in research. And so I've been doing it since summer of 24. I'm happy that it gives me a little bit of insight into the life of a researcher and also about the people I meet in the lab, because this is not the only project that's being done by Dr. Shields. He's running other ones alongside it, and so I get to see the work of other students as well as other chem departments and science departments at Furman.
That was Katelyn Wong reporting. There are so many students on Furman's campus doing amazing research, and students can learn so much by getting out into the field early in their careers. This Friday, April 4th, the Furman Environmental Action Group is hosting a vegetarian potluck at North Village G Pavilion from 5:30 to 8 p.m. With their dedication to sustainability, they're bringing the campus together to enjoy a spread of vegetarian hot dogs, burgers, and more, all while supporting a cause that benefits the planet.
So the vegetarian potluck is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have, I think, some vegetarian hot dogs. And so come ready to eat, and you can bring your own stuff. It'll just be a fun time at G Pavilion to celebrate the end of the year.
In arts and entertainment news, if you need a few more CLP credits before you graduate, there is a perfect opportunity for you coming up. Next week, the Furman Theater Department presents Tartuffe, or The Imposter. Tartuffe is a comedic play that was, quote, banned for decades by civil and religious authorities who found the play too close for comfort, end quote. That's according to the Furman Theater. The show will be from April 8th through April 12th at 7:30 p.m. and April 13th at 2 p.m. in the Playhouse Theater. Tickets are on sale right now, so check out the Furman's Instagram for more information. And if you want your chance to be on the stage, you have an opportunity to step into the star that you are. Furman University's student-run theater organization, the Pauper Players, is holding auditions for their spring cabaret. The director, Gail Rhodes, will be holding auditions April 2nd, 3rd, and 4th in the Daniel Music Building. You can sign up for an audition time slot from the link in their Instagram bio. Camber Parker Bowden, a Furman University alumna, has taken her passion for helping young professionals to new heights. Our Sidney Lyn reports what started as a blog called Yo Pro No has evolved into a company called Generational Performance Solution.
Camber graduated from Furman University with a passion for broadcast journalism. Although after entering the workforce, she quickly realized that her true calling was to help young professionals navigate their careers.
I was at the Parkinson's Society, so I was fundraising and had a lot of odd hours. I was working a lot of weekends. And so my boss at the time was like, you can do what you, as long as you get your job done, I don't care when you do it.
In 2018, she launched Yo Pro No as a blog, creating a platform to connect young professionals with businesses.
After a couple of months, I realized they're all saying the same thing. And so for 2 years, all I did was just this blog. I posted one episode a week, or one blog, and then it turned into a podcast.
Over the next 5 years, the blog grew, and Camber decided to build a team and monetize that platform.
So I ended up doing a lot of like networking meetings when I moved back to Greenville and started kind of building this really cool network, all while the blog was still up and running.
Camber began expanding its mission to provide businesses with strategies to engage and retain talent.
That was how it all started, was like my personal career experience, and then a creative outlet that made me realize like, oh, everybody is experiencing this. And now more than ever, companies are really struggling to understand young people. But we don't just help them with the young workforce. It's how do all generations work better together.
And as that business grew, Camber realized she wanted to move beyond just helping young professionals.
And so now today, we're a consulting firm. We call ourselves a workforce strategy group. And we offer training and speaking. And so I get to travel all over the country and speak about how different generations can work together in the workplace.
This led to the rebranding of YoProKnow to Generational Performance Solutions, a company that now works with businesses to improve intergenerational dynamics and create stronger, more inclusive workplace cultures. Maddie Neild, a junior communication studies major who helped Parker with the rebrand event.
I had the opportunity to get to attend her rebranding experience, and I really did learn so much from her. She's such a strong and amazing businesswoman, and she's truly inspiring, and I'm looking forward to see what her rebranding leads to.
That was Sidney Lyn reporting. Parker now has a team of 5 that works with her. Scooter students, as you zoom around campus, be careful of malfunctions. Segway has just recalled 220,000 kick scooters due to the folding mechanism's failures, causing injuries ranging from bruising to broken bones. Sophomore Austin Crow has experienced an injury due to one of these scooters.
So I was driving back from the library on my scooter, and as I was passing Haynesworth and Gambrel, part of the Clark Murphy section, the cruise control kicked in as I hit the brake, and it turns out, now because there's a big recall about it, there's an issue with Segway scooters where if the cruise control kicks on when I hit the brake, it makes the whole thing locked up. So as I hit the brake, the back wheels lifted off the ground and threw me at 20 miles an hour with a 60-pound backpack on me. Hit the ground, face planted, scraped about 6 feet. All right, pulled flesh off my face. Got a concussion, a black eye, facial abrasions, knee abrasions, arms, and 2 broken hands. And now I am suing Segway 9bot.
If you have one of these scooters, the United States Consumer Product Safety Commission says to immediately stop using the recalled scooters and contact Segway to receive a free maintenance kit. Good news, Cameron Winterston, who had a terrible cycling accident last week, is now recovering at home. It will take time, but she is expected to make a full recovery. After Cameron was hit by a car, and because traffic on Altamont Road may be increasing in the future due to the new Inn at Altamont, we want to go over some important laws for bike safety. According to the South Carolina Department of Public Safety, drivers should exercise due care to avoid a collision with a pedestrian or bicyclist, maintain a safe operating distance from the bicyclist, and refrain from harassing or throwing objects at the bicyclist. South Carolina State Trooper Nick Pye spoke with us about bike safety.
One of the things that can be concerning with bicyclists and pedestrians overall safety is, making sure you're as visible as you can be, making sure that you have a light, you have on reflective gear, things like that. And we have to all make sure that we're doing what we're supposed to do and we're being safe.
Now let's go to Dixon, who introduces us to some remarkable student athletes.
Thanks, Clancy. Welcome back to sports. There's been a lot of action for several teams this past week and some special events that have taken place on campus. Let's get right into it. This past Sunday, the Furman community had an awesome opportunity to come together and show their support for Bryce Stanfield, a football player that tragically passed away just a year ago during a workout. Many members of the Furman community came together to love on Bryce's family and friends by doing one of Bryce's favorite things, working out. Bryce Stanfield was a treasure of the Furman football team, but also of the whole Furman community. And to carry on his legacy, his parents, with the help of some Furman students, created a special event in his memory. On Sunday this past weekend, hundreds of students and athletes from across campus came to participate in the Stop the Clot workout in Bryce's honor. The workout was organized and put on by the National Blood Clot Alliance as an opportunity to spread awareness for the cause. Xavier Stevens is a defensive lineman on the football team and was one of Bryce's closest friends.
I think it's just important to feel the community again, to know that everyone's still here for Bryce. I think that was big, and then being able to show people how hard Bryce worked, I think is super important.
PJ Myers was Bryce's roommate and says an event of this type would have been right up Bryce's alley.
Definitely means a lot to him because, he always wanted to give back to the community in some sort of way, kind of raise awareness, at least for some sort of cause.
The event not only brought together the Furman community to share Bryce's legacy, but to raise awareness as well.
For the campus, I know they've been doing a lot of advocacy, not just in the month of March, of course, Blood Clot Awareness Month, but also, before that, honoring him in many other ways with various venues doing certain things.
Bryce's death has served as a beacon and a sign of hope for many, and a rallying cause for the entire Furman community, and so many more off campus, just like Bryce would have wanted. It was an awesome experience to be able to attend such a cool event on campus and to see so many members of the Furman community gathered to rally for a cause. Exciting news for Furman football fans. The team just announced its FBS football matchups for the next 4 years. Furman typically plays one of these big games per year, allowing players and fans to experience a game in a different atmosphere than Paladin Stadium. The games also provide the football team with a nice check that helps to cover many of the costs for the season. The Paladins will travel to Tennessee, Florida, South Carolina, and Clemson. Furman student David Gabrick attends classes in the morning in South Carolina, but by 4 p.m. on any given day, you'll find him in the mountains of North Carolina, hours into a bike ride. That's because he is not just a student, he is a professional cyclist for UTC ButcherBox, a United States pro team.
There's nothing better than doing an all-out lead out, peeling off with a K to go. You see your sprinter take the win.
400 miles and 25 hours a week on the bike is just the start for professional cyclist David Gabrick.
The riding is just kind of square one in terms of like the total athlete. There's so much with nutrition, strength work, stretching, other physio stuff. So it's a pretty full-time commitment.
The crashes and scars add up, but it has never been a reason to stop, just motivation to clip back in.
You do put yourself at risk, but there's a fine line between, I could risk this for the win, or I send it too hard and crash out. So it's a fine line, but if you're always scared of crashing, you're never going to race your bike as well as you would.
So why keep riding? Because the pain fades, but his purpose stays. David is what is called a domestique, a role built on grit, not glory.
I've also been what's called a domestique. So essentially just looking after the race leader, getting bottles, getting food, taking stuff back and forth to the car. So that involves like lead outs, any type of like final sprint positioning. So essentially just support.
Why he continues to ride? A simple answer. He just loves riding his bike.
It's kind of my outlet, and I really think it is. You can get out in nature and just explore. It's one of my favorite things is just going and getting lost in the mountains and just trying to, on the fly, make a route back, or going up a new climb I've never been on to go see a new mountain view.
David has gotten to see quite a lot of those mountain views in his lifetime, traveling to over 15 countries with his teams, getting to see the world and do what he loves, truly living his dream. Men's tennis was in action this past week as they took on Emmanuel, sweeping the competition in a 7-0 rout. Men's tennis has had a rough stretch recently, but this game could prove to be the momentum boost they need with conference play right around the corner. And as the old saying goes, all good things must come to an end, and sadly that was the case for the women's tennis team this past week as their 8-game match streak came to an end against Charlotte, where the team lost 1-4. But the Paladins had a short-term memory as they came back to beat Mercer 6-1 to open their conference season adding another conference win to their conference record. The softball team was in action up in Tennessee as they took on ETSU in a 3-game conference series. The Paladins had a nice sandwich of wins as they took games 1 and 3 by scores of 6-4 and 7-1 respectively. The wins this past weekend bring the softball team's season record to 13-22 and even 3-3 in conference play. Softball also happens to be the only team playing at home this week, so be sure to come out Saturday and Sunday as they host UNC Greensboro in a 3-game conference series. The games Saturday are at 1 and 3 p.m., and Sunday the teams clash at 1 p.m. The Paladins will look to add 3 more conference wins to their record, and I know they could use your support. Grant Robinson is in the field hanging out with senior lacrosse player Audrey Smith, where he is chatting with her about all the awesome things she is doing on and off the field.
Thanks, guys. I'm here in Pickens County, about 15 minutes away from the Table Rock wildfires. As the situation continues to escalate, one student athlete decided she wanted to make a difference in the community.
Audrey Smith is a senior defender for the Furman Paladins women's lacrosse team. With her exceptional leadership and tenacious defense, she consistently shuts down opposing attackers, playing a pivotal role in the team's early season success. Not only is she exceptional on the field, she finds ways to give back to the community as well. This past Saturday, Audrey made a meaningful contribution to her community by donating essential supplies to those affected by the Table Rock wildfires.
Just seeing how much is happening in our community from COVID to Hurricane Helene and now the wildfires, it's just a lot to take in and a lot to process. And I know that sometimes we tend to think that we're a small fish in a big pond, but honestly, any donation helps. And everyone that donated at Furman University, whether it was monetarily or through actual donations, waters, Gatorades, eye drops, etc., was greatly appreciated.
When Audrey isn't playing a sport or helping around the community, she's often covering those events.
You know, as the Funk Sports Director here at Furman, I am typically behind the camera and reporting on our Furman family. I'm reporting on our sports, I'm reporting on our outstanding student athletes, but it's also cool to come out here and show a different side of Furman athletics and the way that we pull together, whether that's our football team, our lacrosse team, or even the Paladin strength with everything that they're doing. I think it's just super cool to be in front of the camera and showing how awesome a community like Furman is and how awesome the community around Furman is.
It may seem like a lot, but Audrey fully embraces every opportunity to make an impact.
I know that a lot of people talk about balance and in athletics, having balance between academics, athletics, your social life and things like that. But to me, that balance comes with opportunities, and the opportunities that I've been given to be director of Funk Sports, to teach people how to storytell, to, you know, be involved in the communications department and continue to be involved in my community. These opportunities are more valued, in my opinion, than the time that I may or may not have at the end of the day.
Those who work alongside Audrey benefit as well.
Audrey was one of the best mentors I've ever had. I mean, the first game that I shot with her was basketball against Wofford, the Hooford game everyone knows about, and I was really nervous stepping on the court, never filmed courtside, and she just really gave me free reins. She, you know, gave me the basic tutorial how to, and then really she just let me be creative and be my own videographer, which I really appreciated. She didn't micromanage me or anything, and I think that just comes with the own passion like that she has within herself, and that she wants to just share the love of storytelling with everyone else and really doesn't want to confine anyone to her version of creativity. She wants to see you bring the story to life and how you want it to be shown.
Audrey graduates this May, but until then, she will continue to make a difference in her community.
I'm Grant Robinson with the Nightly News. Back to you.
Thanks for that awesome story, Grant. That's truly inspirational. Well, a great week in Paladin sports this week. All of our teams were winning games, winning big games, conference games at the right stretch of the season.
Yeah, it seems like all of our teams are doing really well at the perfect time. And be sure to come out and see your favorite softball team this weekend. Well, thank you, Dixon, and this has been the Nightly News. Thank you.